Hopefully. I'd be disappointed if I had to run off again, but we do get some lovely Crincy play-by-play if we do. And look, I'm happy where the observers have decided to put the camera right now, because I wanted to follow up on what you always said. Nah is a pick that in the last couple of days, the VCS have finally realized you should actually abuse Nah picks. And Irelia does horrible things to Nah.
Yeah, and to maybe like break a little bit of a lance for the side of versus Sky. At least it was a blind pick now, and they expected it to really not have the greatest of matchups, so to say. So it wasn't at least like Na counter picking himself into a Camille or into a Gwen. Okay, it's not a big counter pick, but that has happened before, and the Na then losing the lane matchup already. Looking at you, Yoshi, no? Either way, Coated now going to play Irelia. Yeah, I really like to see it because you can really abuse in the matchup there. Also, Leon and Tinaus was great matchup for the bot lane supports, and I don't think that Vit and the Zeri can be punished. They tried it in game 1, it didn't work out quite well. He went down some CS, that was basically it, and in some of the teamfights he didn't even need to ult. It was still a very huge factor as to what really brought the damage to the table for the side of Luxury. And here we see, of course, the first 1 or 2 levels will be very hard because the Jinx can just push them in with the rocket launcher that got slightly nerfed but not nerfed too hard. So level 2 needs to be forfeited on the side of Vid and CBL, but them respecting is a good side of them. Of course, for them, they can attack the wave on the turret, get the farm going for them and not fall behind very much. Speaking of falling behind though, now against Irelia, it already doesn't look too great for the side of Ryuk. He can trade some damage back, but with the Flawless Duet Stun coming out and Coated managing to push this wave in, he will be fine there.
Yeah, and Coated has always been a very mechanically gifted top laner, but let's come back to it as Glory has been caught out. The flash was a little bit early. Killer Queen still connects. That was absolutely perfect play, Luxury. You love to see it.
And very weird gank timing, of course, on side of Killer Queen, that he is already there at the 3rd minute. You don't really expect it that much as a mid laner to be there. In the top lane or the bot lane, it would be a little bit more usual. But Glory, burning his flash, but Killer Queen also ready to use his just to accelerate his own mid laner in Blazes, who has done greatly in the last game on the Ari, now on the Orianna. Already up with a very comfortable first back, with the tier already being there. Tier Orianna, not something we see all the time, but something, of course, that scales very, very well. If it happens to be a Seraph Embrace later on, and here we see off-screen, Coated died.
That's really good. Going up there, helping your Nah, making sure Ryuk doesn't get owned, and actually lets Drakthar be a champion on Viego this time, because he really wasn't in the last game. But we know that Drakthar on the Viego can be a solid carry, and this is a good start for it.
Definitely is. Coated also accepting its fate, doesn't burn his flash on his side, which is maybe a slight win for him in that regard, but Drakthar, of course, this time getting a kill out of Viego. I wonder, did he even get a single kill last game? I remember him being 0-3 in the mid game against a 7-0 Lee Sin. That's something that might tell me that he didn't get a single kill in this game, but maybe he did. I don't quite remember. Either way, Coated now with the Iron further stacked up, absolutely outtrades him now. He doesn't even need Killer Queen there, and Killer Queen is there in case he gets baited in, but Ryuk is not getting baited in if he already loses the 1v1 that hard.
It's true, Coated almost needed to start pulling some punches. Let's actually have a look what happened here. Oh, this is bog standard. Yeah, Coated doesn't use summons, so doesn't actually matter a huge amount. Obviously, gold onto Drakthar is really good, but Coated is still going to dominate the top lane.
Definitely so. And with the flash spectral more out there, isn't really that easy to flash instead of Coated. I don't even know if you really want to flash it, because maybe it's just fine if you have the flash there later for an offensive play on your end, so you are really fine in that regard. And Ryuk, he started Bramble West on Nah. He started Bramble West on Nah. I just want to say it again.
It's probably the correct decision, but it's bad.
But it being needed is like speaking volume of what the matchup really is, right? You just need to have the healing so much against Dumbledore's Blade, also understandable. But it just tells you that Nah doesn't really want to build the Bramble West early, but against Irelia he kind of has to really be somewhat effective here. And him even getting some gank assistance early still doesn't mean that he pulls out in CS or anything. He's down 2 waves in CS, of course, still. And Killer Queen, again, lurking. Maybe he can make a play on the bot lane, but so far, bot lane of versus Sky seems to sniff out that there's something coming up.
Yeah, I mean, they saw them and just kind of didn't go to tower. So now flashes are having to be burned. Killer Queen wants to go under the tower, and CBL agrees, as they will pick up that kill onto Elio. And that just feels like shoddy decision-making.
It seems kind of like they second guess themselves, right? I mean, they kind of expected the gang to happen. Then Elio goes in for the dredge line. He also lands it, gets a good snare on the turret, I guess. But he pays for it with his own life without getting a return kill. And like this, Luckily for them, TBL got the kill, so not maybe like the most ideal target for the side of Luxury to really get going. And here, Killer Queen, what a badass, man. He doesn't use any spell. Just his presence alone forced the flash from our Mina there. Beautiful.
Yeah, absolute Sigma energy. Women literally forced to flash away from him. As Killer Queen, I mean, he's just here. He's just going to make sure that Vit continues to accelerate. Killer Queen, is he back? He had a cracker of a game 1, and game 2 is going pretty well as well.
Goes 10-0, refuses to elaborate further, leaves. He's the absolute giga chat. Yeah. Then now we see the bot lane. Yeah, it's looking pretty doomed, right? 3 turret plates already going down. They are zoned away from the wave. Now 20 CS difference for the side of Vit. And the Zeri is supposed to lose early, by the way. Did you know?
Yep.
And yeah, here we see that's what's happening.
Coded, having a bit of a biff with Drakthar. Does get poked out a fair bit. Doesn't want to actually take the fight, of course. So again, a lot of Drakthar's time is just being used making sure that Ryuk isn't left as a smear on the sidewalk.
Absolutely, so that's what he needs to do. And now we see Coded having to sacrifice at least one wave of CS, so that's a small win for the side of Burst Sky. Drakthar being at their right place at the right time. But speaking of being at the right place at the right time, Killer Queen yet again the bot lane. No minion wave, but maybe they don't even need it. Killer Queen is level 6, he could kick them in the face.
Oh, Killer Queen! He doesn't get the kill, but how did he... I mean, I don't think he expected to be going to Jinx there. How did he hit the Q on the Jinx? Did it wiggle on its way?
I mean, you know, it's not a skill shot for him. He just needs to press a target.
It's true. It's heat seeking.
It's like any Q. You just press the Jinx and then the Jinx gets hit. That's just how it works. It just goes the curve. Either way, why didn't he kick? He had like 100 energy. I think you can kick there.
I don't think we'll get a replay because there was no kills. Maybe, but unfortunate because I genuinely think he thought he was going to Nautilus because I thought he was going to Nautilus when he followed the queue, but no, he was on the Jinx.
Maybe he was getting afraid of himself there because there's just so much energy being around him. But I think if he just presses kick, he just gets a double kill. Maybe because you can kick one player into the other, and then he still has flash, so he could get out. I think if he just gets the kick there, the game is just basically over. But apparently not. I don't know what made the difference for him there. Maybe he also needs like 100 energy and he had like 90. I need to check this.
Maybe. I'm not sure. But regardless, we do have Vit in a very good position. Nice sidestep there on the Dredge line, making sure he doesn't get cleaned up while his support has gone a Roman. I mean, this is all luxury. BTS really hasn't had much of a look in except for that one gank top that, you know, it gave some gold but didn't really do anything. Yep. I don't know what do they do here, Crincy? What's their plan?
Who exactly are you referring to?
Sky.
Which player?
Killer Queens. Well, just the team in general.
Oh, the team in general. I don't really know. I mean, maybe you could play one to Sundar. Maybe she can get ahead again against Spaces. I mean, even with the gank, she's ahead 2 waves. So definitely, Glowy is a capable mid laner. Is still, despite game 1, where he didn't really look like someone, he can still punish this matchup a little bit, and Drakthar maybe could play like the Flash Spectral more onto Blazes. Orianna is an easy gank target in a literal sense, but she isn't really a mobile champion. Maybe you can get Glowy back ahead and then just play with Syndra one-shots in teamfights and get the resets onto the Vega and then play teamfights out like this. Even now being behind as a Mega Knight, you could still like land multiple Mega Knights to just really stun someone into a wall and go for there. But the lanes are just collapsing against them, especially the side lanes. The mid lane is somewhat fine, I would say, but there's not really that much of an obvious, easy choice for the Sky to really pull ahead here. I would maybe try to play on the mid lane a little bit more, but of course, Lakshmi likely knows that and will have an answer on their own to be ready against it. Ooh. Here, maybe we see it towards the bottom, we go to Dredge Lands.
Yeah, that should be an easy kill. That was just Vit trying to dash in a straight line to get away from a Nautilus, and it's going to turn into a double kill for Sky. That's a lovely play by Elio.
Yeah, definitely a lovely play, and also very huge overstep for Vit, but maybe the play is not even over. Killer Queen, he carries a lot of gold, but yeah, wisely choose against it. He's still a Lee Sin, right? He cannot just kill them from range or anything. He needs to get dirty, get into the fight there. Speaking of getting dirty, Kota just got dirty with Ryuk, and Ryuk now loses the wave. Has to watch the plate fall as well. Oh, Flash Force against Blazes. And yeah, now it's a flashless Orianna. You can punish that pick. You can threaten ganks on her, even if you don't get the kill. Like, you can maybe even force her away from some waves, and maybe that's why Drakthar should put more focus on.
Yeah, I would hope to see that, but you know, Drathar did pick up a kill in that bot lane play. He is getting bigger and bigger. They are going to move up here and presumably drop down the Rift Herald. TP being used, I think, will call that off. Killer Queen still holding on to that. I probably doesn't have too much time left on it. We don't have the scoreboard right now, so I can't check. But I do want them to actually get value. We've seen some pretty shocking Rift Heralds in the VCS, and I don't like that trend.
I mean, it was mostly the Ego Rift Herald, but the Ego is gone now.
There's a gank top. We're not seeing it because the observers haven't noticed, but Ryuki's about to die. There we go. They finally found him. Coda gets the kill.
Yeah. They found him. He was close to getting Mega, but not close enough. Bot lane worm coming out. Glowy. I mean, the Syndra can do something in the early game, especially getting such a good lead in the lane, even after what happened there with the ganking that happened. And yeah, just play around if you pick it. I mean, we know Rebel, like how he likes to wander about the Syndra pick, and yeah, if you play around it, you can justify to some extent here with the coded. Yeah, that's Aurelia against Na, by the way. Have fun, Na. Ryuk doesn't, of course. And
now they get the tower as well. But I like, just to comment on the bot lane play, I like that they're punishing Lazeri, trying to abuse her weakest point in the game. So that's always good to see. Coded stuns up Drathar, will be able to walk away, but this is now a very scary Irelia, unlocked from the lane as well. Could potentially go a Roman and try and take down, sorry, let me rephrase. Try and get their Orianna back in the game or get ahead. But it's a lot more even than it was at this time last game, Quincy.
That's definitely the case. I mean, Lakshmi's still pulling ahead, but not by as much as it was last game. And Lakshmi, also last game, while they were stomping, they were far from clean, right? In those team fights, they dropped 1 or 2 takedowns, even to the Viego in that regard. And Viego getting resets is always a scary prospect. And Blazes, he's flashless. You can just kill him.
Yeah, he just dies. And that is what you said that they should do. It was a flashless Orianna, punish it. And they do. So it's good to know that they're listening to you.
Yeah.
Sky, honestly, have been dominating the bottom side of the map. They're using this Syndra pressure well, even though she's only got 1 kill, 1 assist. The fact that it's a Syndra that exists is scaring Luxury well enough.
Yeah, and at this game, it's also not a 0-3 Viego, it's a 4-0 Viego, and Killer Queen doesn't have 10 kills, he has not a single kill this time. He has some assists from the first ganks he did, but this time the jungle diff is not there, or maybe even in the other direction if you're putting it like this. Actually, was slightly, but not that much, and the mid-jungle duo from the side of versus Sky this game is looking very scary. Elio roams away towards the mid lane, flash hook onto the Orianna, and she just dies. Of course, the Orianna still useful from behind to some extent because the Shockwave is still amazing CC in the team fights, but won't do as much damage as a Syndra would do in this mid-game team fights, assuming both can really blow their combo out. And actually, not having as much of an easy time. And as I said before, it wasn't that clean in game 1 either. So if you happen to pull ahead with the Viego on the side of versus Sky, you can absolutely work havoc in these team fights. And this game is far from over for the side of versus Sky, and especially for Luxury, who are ahead, but what is 1k gold at 15 minutes? It's not really a significant gold lead either way.
No, it really is nothing. And particularly if we looked at where the gold was, I actually think it would really favor Sky, particularly around the 4v4s. I want to see Coded leaving the lane. I think he's a huge point of power for Luxury, and they need to actually use him. As once again, Sky is engaging the mid lane. Everything misses from Syndra into a lovely shockwave. I think CBL is going to get taken down immediately regardless, but this allows Coded, as I said, to turn it around. They trade onto the enemy support. That had potential to be good, but it really didn't go anywhere.
It didn't really go anywhere. Both supports just being on their tank support duty, being the sacrificial lambs for the teams respectively, and that 1-for-1, of course, something. I think Luxury is actually fine with it because, as you said before, in the 4v4, they are technically behind, so they just want to have Coded have some freedom. Here we see a kick coming out from Killer Queen. He gets scattered in the mid-air and trades his life for the Syndra, but the push can continue for the Luxury. I think Luxury is still fine with it.
Yeah, they're fine with it, but it is, at least they get something back. So well done there by Glory. Just keeping everything somewhat even. Coded is going to pick up a Herald as well, just solo that one out. So yeah, look, Luxury is definitely still in the lead, as Ryuk won't be able to get this tower. Blazer should be there in plenty of time to clean up the wave. But at least they're playing it close, and they can approach these mid-game team fights when we get these proper 5v5s from a position where it's not impossible.
Definitely, and I think these even trades actually favor Luxury in the 4v4 because, as you said, they are behind in that specific regard. I mean, as long as Code has free time in the side lane, he will become even more of a monster. If he gets free time against Ryuki and just farm him like crazy, because now it's basically a minion for him at this point. So that was something that plays in his favor. And if the 4v4 is fine for the side of Luxury, they are more than fine because that side is just that much of a cracker for them. They can just pull ahead even more. It's almost 50 CS between those two top laners, 2 kills also on the Aurelia, and she just now got to solo the Herald for free, which is another objective that plays in their cards. They can use it as a distraction around the next Drake. The Drake already spawning, Hextech Drake being here, and then if they get one pick here, it might just be disastrous for the side of Versus Sky, but they want to make a play on their own. TP's coming in.
Yeah, and Blazers is absolutely screwed. Killer Queen missed his Q, which just sold the Orianna up the river. That's a shutdown given over to the Gnar. Fantastic play.
Fantastic play, and also no shockwave for the team fight, potentially. I mean, the shockwave was already on cooldown, but getting a pick like this, and also now being in the 5v4, you already were good in the 4v4. Now you get the turret there as well, and the Drake on top of it. Versus Sky is more than stabilizing right now. They are down basically no gold, now equals the Drake score, and they have the control of those skirmishes, and now Luxury really needs to make sure that they do not give up too much in these skirmishes, because they really are not easy to play for them. They really need Blazes to be not getting caught out in the first place. Killer Queen maybe finding the right angle before the fight really starts, and then setting up a good shockwave play together with CBL onto the Leona, and otherwise it doesn't really look good for them right now. Zeri, of course, will be a win con for them later on, but she's on one item right now. It's a Triforce. Now she gets Pickaxe and 2 daggers, which implies to me it will be Blade of the Wound King or something like that. Or maybe she just goes components, maybe like Tiamat and then the Hurricane, which is also something you can go, because she likes Titanic Hydra, weirdly enough. But she needs her second item, needs the third item to really make the difference against Jinx, who is also somewhat punishable, I would say, because she went the Kraken's there, which is very high damage, but if you can find an angle on her, she immediately dies. It's not a Gale Force Jinx that can maybe have one escape route into the offensive or the defensive, so the Kraken's there Jinx is punishable. But in the last few skirmishes, Versus Sky really was pulling ahead, and this might just forces us to a game 3 later on. Tier 1 to it. They agree a bit for it.
They did, but Elio gets the party started. There is a Mega Gnar coming in, but he can't transform. The CC train was perfect coming out of Luxury, and they blow up the enemy top laner before anything really happens. Drakthar getting a little bit spicy, but Luxury don't take the bait.
Yeah, Luxury don't take the bait, and but Sky got a bit baited right there. They maybe thought that Luxury was getting baited by the tier 1 turret, but it was actually played finely by them, because everyone on the side of Luxury was ready for a potential re-engage on the side of Versus Sky. They immediately burst Ryuk out on the Gnar, and without the Mega Gnar being in place, there's not really much to really fight in the 5v5. So another turret falls on the side of Versus Sky. Now Luxury in this mid game gets some control back, with Kodet playing very well in the side lane, also having the Herald there, which will likely take another turret, and that opens up the map so much for the side of Luxury. Versus Sky kind of dropped the ball in these last 2 minutes.
Yeah, he's not actually going to take the tower. He's just gonna hurt it. Doesn't want to risk being collapsed on. I think that's the right decision there by Coded. Second Rift Herald is never the most valuable thing in the world, but he just continues accelerating ahead. He's now got a 50 CS lead over his direct opponent. Not so much Ryuk's fault. He has been moving with the team a lot more than Coded has. Let's see where this Irelia really ends up. I still want to see Coded being as part of team fights. I don't think Irelia as a split push threat is as much of a win con. But we'll have to see where it goes.
I think she actually might be, but she isn't going like Hullbreaker or some funny stuff.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Maybe she isn't, and she can actually do something in teamfights, unlike other split pushing picks like a Tryndamere, like a Yorick, or any of those other very weird picks that you maybe see in 1 out of 200 games. And with the Godwinker Blade of the Wound King build, she can basically threaten anyone. It is a very good item on the patch. Also, just getting a dive onto the Syndra or to the Jig, they are immobile carries. You can also just kill them as a Raylia, right? I mean, you are definitely in a position to do so. If you land a good Vanguard's Edge, they are definitely easy targets for you. You just dash through them, they get chunked half HP, have likely to be in a to have to flash out basically, and then you can just go from there and just win the teamfight by being an absolute presence in the zoning department. And Coded in the side, of course, he's fine, but he could still be a very good teamfight threat as well.
Yeah, Glory, lots of ward coverage there, did warn him of Killer Queen's approach, so this Syndra is not really under any immediate threat. This Blazers will just continue farming up, has caught up nicely. He's actually half an item ahead at the moment. I think that'll get equalized when Glory goes back to base. But he had a bit of a rough lane. To see him back online, it's a very good sign for the luxury fans out there. But we still have a very close game. It's a 2k gold lead, but at 21 minutes, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. But what does matter is actually Zeri getting farm, Irradier getting farm. I think this actually overall favors the side of luxury the longer this game goes, because I think a pick like Syndra, a pick like Gnar, they really need to they really want to play with a lead on their own. I mean, the Gnar won't really do much against the Irradier in the side lane either way. He maybe plays more towards the team fighting and also the Syndra. It does fall off compared to the Orianna, I would say, overall. The damage output doesn't fall off, but the overall utility it brings to the team definitely does, with not having any shields, any movement speed buffs, anything like the CC department. She just has a scatter of the week compared to a huge shockwave that would potentially anyone in on the side of Burst the Sky. And Zeri actually went for the Blade of the Wound King second. It's very interesting to me, because usually I have seen them mostly go for a Hurricane or for a Titanic Hydra as their second item. And Blade of the Wound King, after the buffs, is a very strong item and it could definitely work out, but those on-hit focused Zeris, I haven't seen too many of them. So I'm really interested to see how they really play out the team fights. And if this will be a team fight, because Burst the Sky just watches as Luxury takes the Drake.
But they're going to fight them afterwards. But now Coded is activated. He's gotten off to a good start. It is Jinx firing back with one. Drakthar does have a soul to take over. He gets booted out. Ryuk goes Mega. They don't want to fight this. They don't have to. There's the Mega Gnar. There's the Wallop. It's a lovely shockwave on the backside. And Vit is spooled up. He is rat-a-tat-tatting it on in. It is Zeri time, baby! As he picks up the kills. It's a double for Blazers. It's an ace for Luxury.
An ace for Luxury that don't really get what Sky really wanted there. They just watch them take the break, then they fight them. The Mega that comes out from Ryuk, but it comes out quite late. He also has to flash to get a good Mega in the ultimate out. And all the follow-up from Burst the Sky piles into the shockwave from Blazes. He's the real star of the team, but for me, of course, Vit being untouched on the Zeri can just weather that all over them, as you just now pointed out, and this will be the reward for Luxury getting the team but win 5-1. They really traded in this, and Baron up to the table for them. CBL. Did CBL also die? Maybe it was a 5-2, I don't quite remember it. But either way, a huge win for the side of Luxury, getting the Baron and the Drake, and this will open up the game even greatly for them, especially with a split pusher like the Irradier. The Baron will do so much for them.
That is a huge, huge swing. This starts out looking pretty good for Sky, but it all goes wrong so quickly.
Yeah, sort of like coming in to really delay the backline on the side of Burst the Sky to really do some damage. And here you see Ryuk, he just got Mega Gnar, he hops forward, goes for the flash Mega Gnar. He does some damage, but not quite anything to finish anyone off. And look at Vit, he's untouched. Aomine struggles really to fight into him. Glory has to flash over the wall, but still gets killed by the Orianna ball, and Blazes chocolate was just beautiful. He got at least 3 people there, and that just not only delayed Burst the Sky's backline once again, but also chunked like half of their HP bars. So Vit really had it easy right there.
I am convinced that the reason Zeri is strong in Pro is not actually anything to do with Zeri. I think there's just some sort of weird bug in the tournament realm where when team fights start, her model disappears. Because every time I see teams playing against Zeri, they just don't focus her. Why is Vit untouched at the end of that fight? You have to hit the Zeri. Come on.
I mean, they couldn't, even if they wanted to. I mean, they just got delayed by the Solar Flat and by the Shockwave. I mean, even if they tried, and they did try, I would dare say, genuinely don't think that Burst the Sky is like, yeah, let's ignore the Zeri. Here, Coded gets chunked quite a bit. He will die.
He does get taken down. Drakthar is not going to have access to the soul, though. Can't get there. And now the rest of Luxury is here. They lose another. Vit getting CC'd up this time. But nothing else is landing as they're just going to try and run away. They turn it around onto CBL. This is actually looking pretty good. They're just killing everyone else, and it's only Vit left alive. They do still need to be somewhat careful of them, but that is just 4 kills out of nowhere. Lots of Baron buffs removed. Luxury, what are you doing?
Well, what they are doing is missing Zenith Bates with a flash up on the side of CBL. He just flashed Zenith Bait and missed, and they were just chasing there into this corridor for no reason. Aomine got excited pretty early on, and he was also just letting his zaps. Coded got chunked initially. They wanted to come as a cavalry arriving for them and him and just helping him out there. And here we see the replay of what happened there. Coded in the 1v2, of course, is confident with the Baron buff being so far ahead. And yeah, the follow-up on the side of Burst the Sky is there earlier than the follow-up on the side of Luxury, and Aomine can just free fire into this corridor. Being excited, he also has a very easy time to really have the good attack speed going. And here we see CVL. Flash misses the center plate. If he hits it, maybe it's turnable for the side of Luxury, but not like this. And here we see them taking up 4 kills, taking away 4 Baron buffs, also shutdown money for them. And this also just costs so much time onto the Luxury, and it just shows why they are still the bottom tier team. I mean, they now get a lead, which should be like game winning for them, but they are playing so sloppily with it. And that's something that really needs to get worked around, because you really just now gave Burst Sky an edge they really shouldn't have.
Yeah, that's 100% true. This is why, maybe even if Luxury does get this 2-0, that is not guaranteed, but even if they do get it, we still don't consider them a top team. They are only beating Sky after all. But yeah, that's just not good enough. The bit of save your friend syndrome, I think, came in there. Just let Coded die. Coded got caught. Whatever. Just push mid. Let him die. Don't send good money after bad.
Maybe even gets a kill in a 1v3, as he did last game when you were away. That happened there. And just leave your split pusher to die. That's what you have to do with them. Don't help your split pushers out. That's something that is, something that doesn't play in your favor that much. And help your friend, but don't help him if you die on your own. That's not something that really helps you here. Tier 2 to it in the mid lane, very, very low. Will be get focused on by Luxury. And despite all the bad jars that happened in the last few minutes, they are still far ahead, right? I mean, it's still 5k gold lead for them. They're still a Drake ahead. They're still ahead in map control. They will likely get the Soul Point Mountain break for them. And it's still their game to lose, I would say. But we have seen, I mean, in these last few skirmishes, they absolutely can still lose those games. I mean, it's the 7th place team they play against. They had a decisive lead, and they are playing so sloppily with it. Even in the last game, which was an absolute stop, it was far from clean. And Luxury, I mean, it is still a losable game for them, so let's wait and see how they play out the next minutes. Now, of course, Titanic Hide were also done on the Zeri for Vid, so he will even do AoE damage now, and will be even more of a menace in the team. But if he happens to be in a position to hit, which he wasn't in the last fight, so Luxury with the correct approach should win this game, but Mr. Sky, of course, can still find some ways back into it.
Ryuk spotted up there as Killer Queen pokes his head out into the river. There's no objectives on the map right now. Of course, that doesn't stop the VCS from fighting if they can find the angle. But at the moment, it does just seem like it's just going to be towers being defended. The fact that this mid lane outer tower is still on, mostly full health, 3/4 full health, kind of tells you how this game is going.
Yeah, it kind of does. I mean, it's basically very, very healthy still. I mean, you see the objective shuttles, and there's still mid lane tier 1 standing, top lane tier 1 to it. Of course, it's looking crackled, as the minimap is telling us, so that's at least low HP from what we can tell. But Burst Sky didn't really get to hit towers at all in this series, basically, right? I mean, game 1 was also pretty one-sided, so not much to take from them. They basically just have to hope that Luxury still makes a huge blunder, still makes a huge mistake. Maybe around the Baron they can play, because Luxury will likely feel forced to take the Baron to really siege the enemy base. Zeri is not really high range. The Jinx and the Syndra can easily wave clear anything coming onto them without the Baron buff, so Baron will be one way in back for Mr. Sky likely, because, of course, when you do the Baron, you tank the Baron, you get shredded by the Baron. And you are also in a very predictable spot for a good scatter of the weak landing, for a good dredge line heading from Elio, for anything the Mega Narc could do. And maybe that's where really Burst Sky can strike again. I think they need it. I mean, they are down 5k gold. It's 30 minutes into the game. It's a decisive lead, I would say, but it's not the end of the world. And definitely one good pick could also just decide the game in the other direction. So Luxury really needs to play it out wisely here.
It's very true. Both top laners do have access to the teleport, so they can join these fights. One thing that I hope Luxury has noticed, and I hope Coded is telling them, and the fact that they're moving over to the Baron tells me I think it does, is Ryuk just came out of Meganar. He is very far away from actually being useful in a team fight. So right now, even if they both TP in, it's 4.5 v5.
Definitely so. Meganar really detrimental in this potential team, but if it available, and right now just doesn't seem to be. They catch Drakthar.
Great kick angle. No real follow-up there. Drakthar just ults over the wall, and it looks like Sky's going to be able to kite it away. That's a good solar flare. Calling it down. Coded is in. Misses the Vanguard's edge. Elio is able to make space, able to find his way out, and Sky, they can evacuate, but they dealt maybe 100 damage that sticks. Baron's back on the cards.
Yeah, Vanguard's edge missing. I think if that Vanguard's edge hits, it's just a clean T-fight and maybe even the end of the game for the side of Luxury to really just take it to zero home. But now they just land some poke. They didn't get a single kill. The shockwave missed.
Just about. That's a good scat of the week. Blazers getting poked out. CBL going very low. They just rip the ult into him. They just want to get a kill to try and get it started. Baron will be secured. Drakthar is extremely low, but Ryuk's coming in, but he only gets the one-man Meganar onto Coded, but he dies in exchange, and now Coded dives in.
Almina's excited.
Quite kill Glory, who goes gold. Almine is excited. As you said, he is throwing in the rockets. He takes down Vit. This is the Almine hour. And oh, you know, you're always happy to see it as he carries his team. He picks up the kills and they get 4.
And they could have just walked out, I think. They had the Baron. There was a way to just out there. I mean, Aomine isn't just going to Gale Force onto you offensively there because he doesn't even have a Gale Force. And you could just walk out of there. The Baron was basically gone and you just took so much risk. You didn't really have to take them to the luxury. And this is basically what I addressed the last few 5 minutes, basically. They have to take the Baron to really siege the base. And Baron is like the one way in for the side of Burst the Sky. Really easy place to really land good scatter the weeks, land some nice poke damage. CBL dies before the Baron is even finished. He flashed, but the outplay button was already pressed on the side of Burst the Sky, and here Baron is taken. And now just walk out. I mean, Killer Queen could walk out, Vid could walk out, Blaze could walk out. They don't have to keep chasing into it, and they just chose not to. They do not really respect Aomine there. And yeah, as you would say, you really have to respect Aomine a lot more.
It's true. Look, me and your way is definitely the #1 Almine advocate, but I was there in the days of FTV Police. I was there as well. So I think I get at least a little bit of joy. As another collapse coming in. Killer Queen was the one survivor. So he still has the Baron buff, but honestly, Baron has not been helping Luxury very much. They want Soul here.
Yeah, they want Soul. It's still about Soul. And Luxury is still ahead, but they don't. They will have to fight T-Fight.
Yeah, the damage is coming in. Drakthar has been immediately removed. That's absolutely massive. But Almine is still able to do a hell of a lot as Coda goes gold in the backline. Double kill now. Look at the healing for the Irelia. Almine is the only one left standing. BTS win one, Luxury win the next. And Luxury gets the ones that matter as they will get themselves a Mountain Soul.
They will get the Mountain Soul and they can maybe even push for more because the death timers are quite long. Only Aomine is alive. You can wave clear one wave, but not multiple ones. This should maybe even be an inhibitor on top of that. And what a shocker from Blazers too. I mean, Aomine is playing these team fights absolutely well, but he isn't in a position to solo carry a whole team because he doesn't really have that much damage on his own. He can kill one person with CBL being there, and other than that, he still has to respect the shockwave coming out from Blazers, has to get zoned by it. Yeah, and Bit on his own, while maybe not being the better AD carry in this series overall, he's also like a zero free items. You cannot even ignore him that much, and here we see it again. Just Drake washed by the side of them. Yeah, watch the shockwave. Also, Soulflare coming out early. Ryuk is in the flank position just now, gets Mega now, which is maybe a bit late. He gets a Mega now onto CBL and Killer Queen, and well, congratulations, that's not enough. Bit gets fire, and yeah. Blazers hates to lose the series, I guess. And yeah, just really in a position to do great here. Aomine, I mean, he did his best. He did fine. He didn't die there. Also, he carries a huge shutdown, so him surviving that's actually very huge for the side of Burst the Sky. But yeah, if you play with the right respect to the enemy team, you cannot solo carry this fight as a Jinx in this state of the game. You are on 4 items, which is very good, of course, but the Zeri, to our own respect, is also on 4 items, and these team fights are not easy to play for Aomine either way.
They absolutely are. Now, we can look at the last fights, we can look at a Mountain Soul and say, hey, things are pretty dire for Burst the Sky, and you certainly wouldn't be wrong, but I hesitate to call it done. Not with a 6-1 Jinx, not with a 4-item Almine. That is absolutely terrifying. The whole game for both teams is just around Almine right now.
Killer Queen?
As Glory gets the boot, as he will go gold for just a moment. He has no way out, though, as Vit will clean up the kill. On the other side, we have Drakthar getting caught out for just a moment, but he ults away. Into the backline goes Coded. They blow up Nautilus. He has the Guardian Angel to get back up as well. Almine takes a lot of damage from the Zeri. Whips a rocket that doesn't find as much, but now they're kind of caught in no man's land. There's no super good angle to fight, but Almine is able to heal up.
And that's what I hate about Luxury. They got their pick and then they refuse to play it slowly. If they play it slowly, it should be a very settled case for them, basically. They still go for such a huge risk. of course, in their defense, they get another pick onto Elio with Zeri being absolutely insane and Bit definitely doing damage on his regard. And this might just be the end of the game, but it's still so sloppily played by them. Aomine lenses that. Maybe he could get a first kill.
Yeah, I feel we get tagged by the shockwave. Blazers, he saw his moment, and that's all they're gonna need. I don't think there's anything Aomine can do. He goes down. The Nexus will be next. That is gonna be it. My light has just fallen down, so I'm about to look terrible on the caster desk. Great timing, but that's gonna be the game. That's gonna be the series.